Welcome to Business Blurb You and the Women Running Businesses podcast. My name is Francisca Lee, and I'm your host. If this is your first time listening to Women Running Businesses, we are a weekly podcast that brings successful female entrepreneurs in every week to dive deeper into their minds. So, stick around to hear authentic and honest conversations surrounding entrepreneurship, and make sure to subscribe to stay in the loop. Today, we have a very special guest, Liv Portillo. Liv is the founder and CEO of DBL Jewelry and Bossology, a business course. She has grown a massive following of over 2 million entrepreneurs across her Instagram and TikTok, and today we'll be talking with her about businesses and how she grew them. Thanks for coming on today, Liv.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited for this.
Of course. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Let's talk about DBL Jewelry. How did that idea of starting the business come about?
So the idea of it, and I guess the reason why I wanted to start my own business, it's a really complex question for me. So I have different reasons. So the first one would be the passion for it. I've always loved art and fashion. I actually wanted to grow up to be a fashion designer. This is almost like it though, because it's jewelry designer fashion. It's same industry. But yes, I've always had the passion for it. I always wanted to be a business owner too, and to be able to make a life out of art and fashion and jewelry is a dream. And second of all, I've always wanted to be my own boss. And there's so many perks to being your own boss. You have flexible hours, you control your time, you control your own income. For example, like a 9 to 5 job, you're stuck at a salary, like the same salary for years. But as a business owner, you can make money. The more you work, like the more successful your business will be, basically. Like a 9 to 5 job, obviously, you'll have a raise every few years. So I'm saying like crazy growth. Like from year
Right.
one, you can make like 50K. Year two, you can make like 50 million. And it's crazy. Like as a business owner, it's just like your life could be extraordinary. And it's all up to you on how hard you work and how motivated you are. And third, I never wanted to use my talents and work to make someone else money. It's like, if you can make, like, if you have the talents yourself, you can make the money for yourself. And anyone can do this. Everyone is super talented in their own ways. And it's like, if they only knew the potential they had within themselves, they wouldn't, what's the point of working all of that for someone else and then not even being compensated enough? And it's like the same amount each year. So it's like, it's not really motivating when you're making the same amount each year if you work harder or not work harder. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Spoken like a true entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's exactly. So, yeah, I feel like my creativity and my motivation, it's just like I couldn't just, give that on someone else. Anyone can do this. But speaking of a 9 to 5 job, I don't want to work. I didn't want to work, so I'm happy I'm not anymore. I don't want to work an entire life and then, be 65. That's retirement age.
Mhm.
And then, this is normal in our society to be, work your entire life. And then once you're 65, you retire, then you have a few years, and then, you die. You die off. I'm sorry. But yeah, like we only have one life. We want to live it to the fullest. I want to live it to the fullest. And personally, I'd like to retire at like 30. And, not retire as in stop all my businesses. Maybe like, I don't know an exact word for it, but I would just be managing my business on the side. But, I would have my own life where at 30, I'd be married and have kids and, not have to work that 9 to 5 job. Like my parents, they work 9 to 5 jobs. And, it's a good life. There's no hate against, 9 to 5ers. And I'm not complaining about how my life was before. Of course, we lived a good life. But it's just like, well, my mom worked from 9 to 5. My dad worked from 5 to 1, and he has the 2 week vacation. Everyone has this. It's like the usual for a 9 to 5 job, and it's just different. When you get to just travel all the time. It's just I have this whole extraordinary life in my head that I've always wanted, and I knew I couldn't get it from the 9 to 5.
Absolutely. So speaking of your parents, what did they think about your success with starting DBL Jewelry? Like we started back when you were in high school. What did
Yeah.
they think about all of that?
So in the beginning, it was crazy. I'm Filipino, so we have Asian strict parents, and I guess if anyone else is listening out there who also has strict parents, like they know that at first they would be like, "Oh no," because it sounds crazy. So I'm from New York, and I think you said you were from Texas. I don't know how it
Yeah.
is over there, but the environment is different in New York versus California, for example. There's a lot of business owners in California, but I guess the place where I was in New York, there's no business owners. I'm sorry. There's no like e-commerce online,
Mm-hmm.
influencer brands that are doing super well. Of course there's businesses. Um it's just like not out. It's not here like how it is in LA, for example. And for me to say that I wanted to do business and sell jewelry, I sounded like a crazy person. And everyone looked at me like I was a crazy person. I look back at it and I would, like, it does seem like a crazy person if everyone else is, everyone's focusing on college or doing something in the medical field or, other fields that require a degree. And then I come out of nowhere and tell them, hey, I switched my major from medical to business to marketing. And they're like, what? So they were super, they were actually upset at first. They didn't want me to do it because business is risky.
Right.
And of course, they're my parents, they care about me. So at first I kind of had to do it behind their back. And I think you asked me just about my parents, or do you mean like in general, like how were people viewing this when I started?
In general, yeah. Yeah. I know parents are usually the main people that are
Yeah.
talking with you at that age, so.
Yeah, so, yeah, because I was 17 when I started 16, but when I really started getting into it, I was 17. So yeah, they're very supportive now. They were supportive back then, but they were mostly scared for me. They were thinking I was doing something crazy, that it was just a little phase. Like, how could someone be successful off of selling jewelry? It just seemed like a little side hustle or a little hobby on the side. Like, they didn't think that it could be a career. And I get it, because there's no one or nothing really around here in my city. I live in like a smaller city in New York, and there's not really, business owners who do e-commerce and, are on Instagram. It just seems like we live in a different generation where I guess it's easier to understand in like LA or in California,
Mm-hmm.
where like you can actually blow up from social media. But over here, like, it just sounds crazy. It's like there's no way you could live a life off of you know being on Instagram or TikTok, and people
Yeah.
think I'm crazy over here.
Yeah. So perfect segue to what I wanted to ask next, your TikTok. You have like what, over 1.7 million last time I checked
Yeah.
followers on TikTok. How did you grow your following? That is like that's a massive number of followers there.
Thank you. It was actually fairly quick. It was crazy. I got to 1 million on my third month of TikTok.
Oh my god.
And yeah, so that was right at the height of the pandemic, right when it started in March. I opened my TikTok account when we started quarantine. And after the third month, I got to 1 million followers. And then my growth has been a little slower since then, only because I've been focusing so much on the business. Like, ever since then, like,
Mm-hmm.
sales have been nonstop. So I haven't been able to post more. Before, I was able to post like 3 videos a day, but now I'm at like one video every 2 weeks, which is bad. I know. I need to get back on it, but I'm honestly growing my business and I'm hiring more people. So I'm still in that process. So yeah, it was crazy. So to grow to the 1.8 million and, well, the 1 million in 3 months, I think
Mm-hmm.
it was both luck and hard work, and the situation we were in, because I started the TikTok right when quarantine happened, like I said, so everyone was on their phones. And TikTok was different last year. I don't know if you could tell like the difference how it was last
Absolutely.
year from now. It's definitely more saturated now, but before it was more like everyone was super supportive, and there wasn't too much negativity on the app. It was easier to blow up. Um, and everyone was home because of quarantine. So it was perfect time to, post me making the jewelry and helping people out with business. And I do think that half my followers are like interested in the jewelry, and then the rest would be interested in the whole business aspect of it, because I put two and two into my account, where I help business owners, but then I also promote my own business and such.
Yeah, that's the perfect mix right there. Because I know I personally follow a lot of like small business owners and a
Mhm.
lot of like business accounts, but I actually haven't seen too many people mix both of those.
Yeah, because I want to help. I'm not just there to just promote myself.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, you
whole
got to
point
provide
was,
value.
yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, like you, that's part of, like, I say this in my business class, but it's all about the psychology of TikTok. It's like people, okay, this is going to sound bad, I guess, but everyone is sort of selfish in their own way, and they're not
Mhm.
going to follow you just for you. It's like they're going to follow you for information. So, unless you're like certain influencers who are like just doing whatever, not really adding anything, just being beautiful, that's a thing too. Or
Right.
even just being beautiful, like you're adding something to people's lives, like you're giving fashion advice, makeup advice. So never mind on
Absolutely.
that, I guess. But yeah, it's like if you're giving out information, people will follow you more, and yeah.
Yeah. So do you handle your own social media and PR, like on top of running your business, making the jewelry and all that, or do you hire someone to do social media and PR for you?
No, I actually do all of it myself. I wish I could hire someone else, but it's like I could, but every time I did, it just wasn't the same effect. I just, I felt like DBL jewelry is my baby. Like I don't know anyone else who could do it better, and I know it's bad to think like that, of course. I would love to have a partner, but it's like I feel like my biggest role in my brand is actually the marketing, and that is like my favorite thing to do, like the psychology of marketing and the videos on TikTok, pushing them out. Like I wish that was the only, like once my brand grows big enough where I don't have to handle like the creation and the shipping and all that. Um my number one job would be the marketing. Like that's the only part that I would always focus on forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. So obviously running a business, you got to get people to buy it.
Mhm.
Have you ever used paid ads or do you strictly go organic growth on social media?
So I actually only do organic growth, and that's why it's heavily based on psychology. My marketing is like I to the T like experimented and researched myself, and it's just like a lot of research within myself that you wouldn't see in a book,
Mm-hmm.
like in a textbook within school. Like they wouldn't tell you the stuff that I'm telling my students in bossology. It's like it's a very precise, like it's not, how everyone's saying on TikTok, like it's a formula, like post at this time, do this trend, use this song. It's really not that. Like I could post at 2 a.m. and know that it will go viral because of the psychology that I put into the video and like what people want. Like it's complex.
Absolutely. TikTok is so crazy. Like I know
Yeah.
I had a random, like it was completely random video that blew up because people were just arguing in the comments
Hmm.
among each other. And I was just like,
Yes.
I'm gonna just sit back and watch.
Yeah. There's always, I feel like every viral video has arguments in the comments.
And it's so funny too. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Bossology, your business course. How did the idea of, starting your own business course come about?
It did come from my own TikToks where, okay, so when I started my TikTok, people were asking me, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? So I just made a few videos where it's like, okay, this is how you ship international orders. This is how you make your own website. And those videos really blew me up. They got like 10 million views immediately.
Wow.
All of them, like I posted like 5 videos in a row, and this is when like my account was at its highest, where it was like, this is how you do this is how you do that, and it was like very simple things. And I realized how like school really doesn't teach us this. Like even in business school, I'm getting a degree right now, and I'm not gonna thank my degree for my success because honestly, I did not learn anything. It's like the specific things that people really needed to know, which is free information. Like I'm not gonna be, like how colleges charge like 50,000 a year for just, and they don't even tell you what you really need to know. Like they tell you the definition, like definition of entrepreneur. Like that's not gonna help you. Like people need to know how to ship internationally. People, exactly. So I decided to make the course because I wanted to help more people out. And I saw people started making videos about how they were thanking me and how I've changed their life. It was young people, older people, moms, and it was crazy the influence I didn't know that I had. And one of my students, I mean, a few of my students, but one in particular, he called me and told me that I changed his life, and he was super happy. He was able to make $40,000 in one day, and it's like he never even thought that was possible. And I was like, and he was just super happy. It was changing his life. And it's just like that feeling of like being able to change people's lives. And, you know, I personally didn't come from a wealthy family. We're also immigrants. And back in the Philippines, we did live in poverty. And
Mhm.
now we're here. So it's like, it's a huge effect when there's some people who can't afford college. Well, okay, so this is basically the whole reason. There's a lot of people who can't afford college and they think that college will help them, and it's crazy like if they end up spending all that money and college doesn't actually help them with the entire business, like if you wanted to run it on your own.
Right.
Um so I wanted to make the course as something that was affordable for anyone to be able to afford, especially people who literally they need the small business to earn money, like especially during the pandemic, because a lot of people were getting laid off and
Mhm.
unemployed because of what was going on in the world. So a lot of people were turning into, oh, I could make my own income at home. And since I was doing it, I just wanted to help everyone do it too at a very like affordable way. And now I have about 350 students in the class right now.
That's awesome. So is your class, is it like a pre-recorded thing that people can watch at their own pace, or is it like Zoom University, you log on at this time and listen to CEO Live lecture? How does that class work?
So it's actually so every month I record a video, about 2 to 4 videos, and
Mhm.
it's usually live. And every time I record that video, and you can come live, or it's also pre-recorded. You can watch it at your own time. So when people purchase the course, they see all the past videos that I've already done for the entire year. So that's like 40 videos. They can watch that at their own pace. But then every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. EST, they see, the live. If I do one for that week, I do about 2 to 4 each month, and
Mhm.
they get to attend the live Zoom class.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like a lot of like business courses out there, because I see a bunch of Instagram ads like take my
Hmm.
business course and you can earn 10,000 in your first month.
Yeah,
It's
no.
pre-recorded, and I'm like, why would I pay this money to like just watch you on a screen?
Exactly. That is such a scam to me when I see these like Shopify gurus or something like posting like their class is $10,000. It's like, what are you really trying to do? Because it's like, I mean, everyone I guess has different motives for um making their
Yeah,
business course. But
yeah,
if do it out of your heart, and it's like it's really not about the money. Of course, you will need some sort of compensation to be able to pay for the website and
right.
all the information. But it's like I really wanted to make it affordable so that it's like, how can a startup business owner pay $5,000 for their course? It's like, it's like you really only got like $50. Like if you're starting, I started out with $50, so that's why I made the course that
Oh my gosh.
much.
Yeah. So, what was the first thing, like the number one thing when you started your business that you were like, okay, this is a good idea. I'm gonna make it reality. What was the first thing that you did to kind of make your business like a business? Did that make sense? I feel like I'm going in circles with that question.
So like what do you mean? Like what was, I don't know actually.
Like, okay, DBL jewelry, that's gonna be a thing. What was the
Uh-huh.
first like actual step that you took to start the business?
So do you mean like how did I actually start it, or like when did I know that this was going to be like the
How did
real
you
deal?
actually start it? Like, was it buying the supplies, setting up
Yeah.
a website?
Okay, yeah. So the story of that is, it was one summer, and my mom said I couldn't work. She never wanted me to get a job because she wanted me to focus on school.
Right.
And of course, I was a 16-year-old girl. I wanted money for shopping, and then I asked her for $40, and I was like, "Hey, can you bring me to like the art supply store?" And we went to the arts and crafts store. I bought a few things with the $40 she gave me. I just wanted to do a little something for
Mm-hmm.
that summer. I didn't think anything of it. And like I told you, I was always into jewelry and art, and I was like obsessed with Claire's. So when I went to the art supply store, I just bought, jewelry supplies. You can get them for really cheap. It's obviously not good quality, but it's
Right.
a, it's a start. And for anyone who wants to start in practice out there. But yeah, I just got them and it was like $40 in total. Then at the time Snapchat was, so I posted what I had made, which was the custom necklace, which is what made me go viral on TikTok, the custom wire necklace with the butterfly on it. And I posted it on Snap, and then a few people from my high school were like, "Oh, that's interesting. Like, I'd like to buy that." And then I sold it to them at school. Then word got around, and then I started selling to all the high schools in my town. And it was more like felt like a drug deal because I was like meeting them after school. It wasn't anything like ooh like official. But then that's when I started my Instagram. I started my Instagram senior year of high school when I was 17, and then I started selling through Instagram, and then I started posting my jewelry and getting influencers around the states to wear the jewelry. Then I started my own website, and then I'm saying it like then I did this and I did that, but I was having a hard time. It sounds easy now, but no, this is a process. And it's like you're a
Absolutely.
17-year-old girl, your parents don't know anything about business, your friends don't know anything, and your whole environment has never heard anything about business or e-commerce, and I'm starting this stuff on my own. I'm getting the LLC, like that's the corporation. You have to do all these,
Mhm.
trademarking, all the all the documents. It was crazy as a 17-year-old girl. I was like, "What is this?" And it's
Yeah.
hard. So in bossology, I tell them it's like, "All right, guys, this is what you got to do," and it's like each state has different laws. Yeah, it was a whole process, but anyways, I started my website. I did okay on the first year. I did a lot of mistakes, a lot. It was not easy. And then I opened my TikTok, and then this is where we are now.
That's awesome. So speaking of mistakes, is there anything that you wish you had done differently when you first started your business?
Anything that I've done differently, let's see.
Like, say you're starting a new jewelry company now, like, knowing what you know now, what
Uh-huh.
would you have done differently?
Um so one mistake that I did, which was terrible, it's because this is what happens when you have like no background to this. I was so for example, pretend you got like 100 orders,
Mm-hmm.
and you needed to ship them out. What I was doing was writing it down. I hope no one listening here is doing this because this was a waste of time. I was writing down every single person's address, hand, like with a pen, because I didn't know that there was like such a platform where it would like take everyone's addresses and print them out for you. I was spending hours on that. And when Bretman Rock posted me on like my second year of business, he got me like a bunch of sales. I was writing all the addresses, which was crazy. I can't believe I did that. So that's one thing I wish I changed.
Oh my god, your poor hand.
Yeah, and I wish I had more help. I was definitely taking on all the roles myself, which was it's good, but I kind of had some mental breakdowns if you're the marketer, the jewelry designer, the customer service, the the designer, everything. If you're everything, it's just like yeah, I would change. I wish I decided to like let people help me and be like, it's okay. I'll let them do it. It's okay if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
But
So, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, that's fine.
Okay. So next few years, who knows what's gonna happen? What are your plans for, the next few years with your business? Do you plan on, getting a brick and mortar shop, starting another business perhaps, or sticking, strictly to DBL and online?
I definitely want to stick to online. I have this prediction that like I feel like malls are going to close down. It's like Amazon is taking over. This pandemic clearly showed that online is where it's at. It's like all online businesses thrive during this pandemic, and in-person stores are still struggling today because of this. And I feel like this might cause like all malls to close and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to get a brick and mortar. I want to stay online. My goal is to have DBL jewelry to become like a household jewelry brand name, kind of like everyone knows K Jewelers and Pandora. So I'd like to grow it enough where it's like, oh yeah, DBL jewelry, like get it from there. And I am starting another business with my business partner. It's actually eyelashes.
Ooh.
Everyone's always talking about my eyelashes. So I'm like, you know what? Let's start a business. So we're doing eyelashes now. And but my goal, like in general, would be to just really help change the lives of people. I want to show like younger people and especially women. I know this is going to be on like the woman podcast. I'll show them that they have the power to manifest their dreams, and they don't need a degree for that. They just need their hard work, their motivation, and themselves. Like, you just really need to believe in yourself. And if you truly feel like this is for you, and I'm not hating on 9 to 5 job, if you want that, if you wanted that, I don't think you'd be listening to this podcast. So I'm sure if they're listening to this podcast, you do want to start your business. So if you're listening, you should start your business in life. Remember what I said. You don't want to be 60 spent your whole life not doing what you actually wanted to do. And it's possible. TikTok in this generation has made it possible to do this, and it's like it's the best time to do it. If you were starting a business like 10 years ago, there was no internet. Like, you really had to do it through magazines or on TV, and those advertisements were so costly. But now you could just make a whole successful business without even having to leave your house. I didn't even leave my house this entire pandemic, and this is what happened to my business.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I know.
And then this is just me being like absolutely just curious.
hmm
Where is the furthest you've shipped a piece of your jewelry?
I'm
Or
sorry, it
the
cut off. I
oh,
don't know what happened. Could you
oh
repeat
yeah.
that?
Yeah, where is the furthest that you've shipped your jewelry? Or like the craziest place that you've shipped it?
Craziest would be, okay, so there's multiple places that I would never think that my jewelry would get there. It would be Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Brazil. It's like I would never think, like, oh my god, like, how did these people see my TikTok? Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I feel like we've actually hit like majority of the company, not companies, countries that the U.S. could ship to, which is like insane. Like, we have reached Germany, the U.K., Canada, Mexico, like everywhere. So it's like I don't know, like I don't know which one's like the farthest, but it's honestly so insane to me. Every time I get an international order, I get super excited. It's like, oh my god, they really. I saw this quote once where it's like, my goal is to have my name spoken in places I've never even stepped in before. So it's like, yeah, I've never been to Brazil. I've never been to to South Africa. But it's like I want to go. Oh, Dubai, like it's like, oh, in Paris, it's all over Europe, and it's like, oh my god, like my jewelry's been there, but I haven't yet. It's so cool to me.
Look, please tell me, you know, have you seen those like scratch off maps of like places I've traveled? Please tell me of one of those for like where you've shipped your jewelry.
I did actually for like the U.S. But then when Bretman, okay, so I had this like little, yeah, I did have like a little scratch off thing for the U.S. for the states,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was doing good. I had like 15 states off the map. Then when Bretman Rock had posted me that time, it went crazy. It's like all the states were filled that same night, and then and around the world. And I was like, I honestly shout out to Bretman Rock. I love him so much. He actually just won an award yesterday. I'm so proud of him. I love him so much. I thank him for like everything.
How did he find out about DBL jewelry?
So Bretman he's Filipino. I'm Filipino
Mm-hmm.
too. And I
Right.
sent him, he had a P.O. box, and I sent him some jewelry pieces that I handmade for him. It said his name. I do like custom wire jewelry
Mm-hmm.
that I hand make. And I sent him a few pieces, and I never knew that he would post them because, he obviously has like what's the word? Like sponsors and people
Right.
he works with that pay him to advertise. And like, I don't know, it was just like this connection. I can't believe that out of all the things that he picked out in his mailbox, like he thought that my little DBL jewelry necklace was something cute, and he posted it. And I think he really loved like the thought of it, and I wanted to thank him because he honestly inspired me to like open Instagram. He was, do you know who Bretman Rock is?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen him on
Yeah,
Instagram.
he's
Yeah.
so funny. Like, I've been following him since he like first made his first video, and like I had thanked him for inspiring me to open my business and spreading happiness to people, just like how he spreads happiness. He posted this, and that's really when DBL took a change. Like, that was like my first one before TikTok. So like I owe him, and it's like I feel like he really pushed my brand and like pushed me like and inspired me, and the happiness he gave me, it's like, oh, I wish I could give that to someone one day.
That's awesome. And I think that is like the perfect place to end this episode. For our listeners, make sure to tune back in next week for a new episode of Women Running Businesses. And Liv, a huge thank you for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.